Hello, and thank you for joining me in another of my monologues. Today I've made a few notes because I just want to get the order of this correct. And I'd just like to say it's been inspired by Clive Edwards' talk at the Weekend Truth Festival, which has just passed. And I'll put a link to his speech because it's inspired me this morning, give me a lot of thought, and it may give you some thought as well, and I hope it does. And by the way, big thanks to everybody who has been very kindly helping me with my internet issues and also helping keep the channel going, basically, by your wonderful donations. I really appreciate it. YouTube have decided they don't want to help fund somebody looking for truth and trying to express what he believes to be the truth. It's a shame, because we all need good, honest debate about what is real and what isn't real. And here's a question for you. Is the UK real? And by UK, I mean United Kingdom. Is it real? Is it a real place? Could somebody actually tell me where it is? Because I'm not really sure I know where it is. I'm a bit confused by that. I mean, we all think we know where it is, don't we? We're all given to assume we know where it is. But I don't believe it is actually a real place. I think it's just a concept. I think it's just... I spoke yesterday in yesterday's video about freedom firstly is in the mind. We've got to change our mindset. And I still stand by that, because I think the UK is just a concept of the mind that we all think that we are in. And there's only really one way to be in that, and I'll get onto that in a minute. So let's just know some truths that we can agree on. There is this, well, even that's difficult. I was going to say there's this globe, but we don't even know if it's a globe, do we? We wonder if it's a flat earth or some other thing. But let's just go along with it's either a flat earth or a globe, or it's a hallucination. There is this earth. We can agree that we're going to call it the earth, okay? Because most people on this planet, whatever, call it the earth. So that's a common term that we can all agree is a real thing. So there's a landmass that I live on the earth, surrounded by sea. And you can picture that quite easily. And it's got the sea. I live near the southern end, near the sea, funnily enough. And as you go north, it gets a bit colder. And as you go west into an area that some people call Wales, it gets a bit wetter. And then as you go over to sort of East Anglia area, it gets a bit flatter. Anyway, so this is a landmass that for, well, at least 2,000 years, if not longer, people have called Britain. One way or another. There's different other names for it, Albion and various other things, but mostly commonly referred to as Britain, a landmass that we call Britain. We can say that that is true and that is real, and you can stand on that landmass, can't you, surrounded by sea. We can do that. And now, if you were to draw that on a piece of paper, that landmass, and you'd get the shape of it, we can see that on a map there are these delineations of what some people have called countries. So one of those so-called countries is England, and then there's Wales and Scotland, and then there's another landmass which has been divided into two, and one of them is Northern Ireland and the other one is a different place called Southern Ireland, or Ireland, or the Isle of Ireland, or whatever you want to call it. Now, if you're on the landmass we call Britain and you get to where the line on the map shows that you're crossing from one so-called country to another so-called country, you don't actually see in the ground as a natural feature a delineation. Now you might see rivers that does sort of, you know, this bank is in England and that bank over there, the other side of the river, is Wales, but you don't actually see the line in the ground. You know, the creator of this earth on this landmass didn't sort of put in big capital letters or any kind of letters to come to that, the words, this is England and this is Wales, this is Scotland and so on. It's a sort of convention, isn't it? It's a convention all on maps. not in real life. It's just on maps. And this is very important that we think of it like this or understand it like this, because this is how we're persuaded that we are on this landmass that is divided into, not only into countries, but then it's divided into other areas, counties, which again, counties and districts and wards and so forth. And all of this is just on maps, isn't it? And actually on a map, you get now what's called a postcode, so that you can, you know, the military, I think, designed it, but so the postman can deliver something to a point on a map, a postcode. And so, but it's not actually on the ground. It's not actually on Britain. It's all sort of theoretical on bits of paper. You could say that that is the flat Earth, really. In my book, I would say that that is the flat Earth, that it's the bit of paper is the flat Earth, with all their lines and names and all of these sort of bits and pieces. But actually, when you're standing there, it's just, well, it's just land. It's just land and water. So, yeah, now, these so-called countries, at some point in more recent history, it's been agreed by a bunch of people who thought they were in charge that they would call all of this, they would unite these places together and call it a United Kingdom. Well, what is a kingdom? You have a king, and it's the domain of his area, isn't it? A kingdom. But it's not actually on the ground. It's not a real thing. It's a concept, a kingdom. It's like, I have all this. But it's just an expression. It's not a real thing. It's not tangible. It's just an expression, isn't it? Kingdom. That kingdom can shrink and get bigger. The landmass can't. Yes, we know that there's erosion, of course, when the sea's coming in, but it can't expand and go at the whim of an individual. An individual going, my kingdom is now bigger, or it has been shrunk because his kingdom is bigger. So the United Kingdom is just a concept. It's just an idea. It's just something in our mind. Freedom is in the mind, remember. It's a concept that we all believe that the United Kingdom is an actual place, that you could be in it. But it isn't really a place at all, is it? It's a concept. It's an idea that it's a United Kingdom. It's not real. Now, I live on the earth. I live on this earth that, well, I don't know who created it. We could call it God. We could call it the Creator. We could call it part of the universe, if you like. We can call it whatever you damn well wish, really. I can't 100% say what created it, but what I can tell you didn't create it was man. Man didn't create any of this, and certainly not government, and not Mr. Starmer, or any of the previous prime ministers, or any of those elites that like to control us. They didn't make the earth. So anything that the people on the earth who've sort of made maps and said, oh, this is my domain, that's all arbitrary. And unless people actually agree to it, it's arbitrary. It's just an idea. It's a concept, isn't it? It's not actually real. What we can't change without using, I don't know, explosives and massive amounts of machinery, and why would you, is actually the shape, say, of the landmass we call Britain. As I say, there's erosion that's changing it slowly over time, but we wouldn't really want to change it and slice it up and dig out, you know, lots of it. We could, but it would be a silly thing to do. And we don't. We don't generally change the landmass, do we? But we change the concept of who owns, apparently, who owns what bit of it. Well, how does anybody own any of it? Because it's not owned by us. It's owned by whatever it was, let's call it God for the sake of argument, that created it. And unless you've got a receipt from God, you can't say you've owned it. Now, the kings, over the years, you know, starting, let's say, go back to the Normans, for example, William the Conqueror, he stole it. Well, he came along, the Saxons had it, we know that, and then they defeated it, he said, it's mine. He didn't, it can't own it. The Crown says they own all the land, don't they? Well, how can they own the land? They can't own it. They can steal it and pretend it's theirs. And if you agree to their terms, like the mafia that it seems that they are, then you know, oh yes, you own it and what have you. But nobody owns any of it. Nobody owns anything at the end of the day. So I'm just looking at my notes here. Notice we don't have, oh yes, here's an interesting thing. So we've got this United Kingdom that we can't actually pinpoint, this UK. We can't say where it is because it doesn't really exist. But notice we don't even have an English government. There's this United Kingdom government, the UK government, with its acts and statutes and legislation. But there's not even an English one. And England, as we've just discussed, is just a delineation on a map, even though, you know, some people will feel that they are English or have English attributes because they've lived in this area for a certain amount of time with a certain number of types of people, and there have been certain traditions and customs, and that's all good. But, you know, in terms of actually where England is, you've got the same issue. But let's not get dwelled onto that. Now, if I am real, and I do feel pretty real, you know, I can slap myself and I'm really here, what does a fake UK got to do with me? That's the question I'm asking. If there's no such place as the UK, and I'm on the landmass in Britain, and it's only a concept made up by other people, what is the UK got to do with me? And also the UK legislation, what's that got to do with me? It's a concept that we are led to believe is supposed to control us, but does it? If it doesn't actually exist, if it's not really there, then where is it? Now, I mentioned at the beginning, there is really only one way to become in this UK business, and that is if you concede to it, if you agree to it. And how do you agree to it? Well, we all get duped, don't we? We all sign up to the electoral roll as a legal entity, you know, the all caps name. We all sign up to that, and so we become members of the United Kingdom, or employees, if you like, of a corporation, of an idea, of a concept, not a real place. And so, obviously, you can resign from all sorts of things, can't you? And say, well, I'm not part of it. And one of those things you could do is resign from the UK and just send a letter, a simple letter to the Attorney General and say, I resign, I rescind my membership, if you like, of the United Kingdom. I'm not part of your little game, your little club, your kingdom, your imaginary domain. I'm not part of any of that, thanks very much. I live on God's earth. And I am real. I'm not this pretend flat earth that you've wrapped around it. I'm a real one of the people. So it says here, when someone from the UK tries to enforce their policy, we could just ask them that simple question. Excuse me, officer. Excuse me, Mr. Member of the UK Council. Can you tell me where exactly the United Kingdom is? Where is it? Is it just in your mind, or is it actually a real place? If it's in somebody else, if it's somebody else's concept, then at the end of the day, what's it got to do with me? That's the question I'm asking. I'll put a link to Clive Edwards's talk, which goes on to much further interesting things about farming and protecting farmland as well. But the question is, where is the UK? Does it really exist? And if it doesn't exist, why are we pandering to it all and listening to those people that have got anything to do with it? Just a thought.